Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and thank you for the newcomers, and thank you for those who are going to watch this video. Okay, I understand that we don't have the same point of view, we don't agree with the same thing, but it's interesting to share our opinion. Okay, this is my take on the highlights of the news so far. The first one is about the fact that Candace Owens has been sued by the French couple, presidential couple, the Macrons. And of course, it's everywhere and people are talking about it there and there. And I just want to give I want to share my take on it, really. Okay. Candace Owens is, I've been watching her. Watch her since she was at PragerU channel. I mean, it's been a long time. I don't remember which year, but I started watching her, and then later on I saw her when she was hosting an event that she called the Brexit. And I found it quite really interesting, not being American, but being an African woman. I thought it was very interesting because as a black person, I thought that this concept and this event were really interesting. So I was watching Brexit, and then later on, she was on the Daily Wire, I think. I watched her there, the Candace Owens podcast, and then now she has her own channel, Candace Owens, on her own, okay? And it's been many years I've been watching her. So yeah, I think it's very interesting. Candace has always been she has always I always thought that she's a very smart woman, intelligent and brave, because she's known to talk about subjects that really are really difficult to talk about, and things that people are afraid, to address. She's an independent journalist, okay? She's an independent journalist, and it very makes sense. She's also, it looks like she investigates a lot, okay? So based on that, it's important to already understand that she's a person who is into free speech a lot, and that is very important nowadays, because it has been noticed that in Europe, free speech. Okay, it's been noticed that in Europe, free speech is dying little by little. I'm not saying that by word, but it has been said that free speech is dying more and more. In Africa, it's not even existing there. So anyway, so when I have people told me, in the comment section when it came, people were saying, oh yeah, she deserved it. She deserved to be sued by the French presidential couple because she's minding her business and she want to destroy a country, okay? She want to destroy a country. For many people who have made the video about the fact that Candace is now sued by the French presidential couple, the Macron, it would be interesting to know first if these people who are making this video have actually watched Candace Owens series on Becoming Bridget. Maybe if you watch it, maybe you will have another approach of the situation. I don't say that she's right, okay? I don't say that she's wrong. I'm just neutral about that. But people need to understand something, and I think it's the public the audience who are talking a lot more about that in a negative way are the American audience. And because they feel like, oh, she goes and she deserves all that, and she's not supposed to put her mouth and she was supposed to mind her own business. You see how today we people are in a way encouraging, we are in a way killing free speech in a way, okay? I do not say that she's right, okay? I do not say that she's wrong either. The only thing that we can wish that is like what she says, the allegation or whatever she has been saying in her series are true. Because if what she says is true, it's going to be a global and a massive humiliation for the French couple. Okay. You have on one side you have the free speech of independent journalists, and on the other side you have the privacy of a couple. But they are not any couple. Okay, they are not any. They are a public figure, and they are at the head of the state of the country. So if people are questioning about something about them, to me, I don't see anything wrong on that. To be honest, I don't see anything wrong to question. I mean, if I have a person on the head of my country, I would be interested to know about the story, because the history, I will use the word allegedly often, because I want to protect myself too. The history of this couple, I remember when Emmanuel Macron became president the first time, when you heard about the story on his own when he met his wife, can be quite disturbing that you have a woman, an adult woman, a teacher, who dated a teenager, not a teenager a kid in high school. Just by the story on its own can make you feel uncomfortable from the beginning. Okay, now it's allegedly what he said. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but judged by the difference of ages, it can be quite disturbing. I don't see. I mean, when you go to school as a teenager, thinking about dating an adult person, especially when the adult person is your teacher, can be very shocking, quite shocking. There are teenagers who are not interested into, things like that. And there are those who are interested. So I don't know how it was, but if you are on the head of if it was something personal, private, maybe people will not really care about it. But when it comes to the fact that you are on the head of the country, it can be interesting to dig a little bit more and know about that. Then later on came the question of her gender. I don't know. I mean, people allegedly feel like and think that she might be another gender. She might be another gender, and it can be very interesting. So what I want to say here is many Americans are talking and say, oh, Candace deserves whatever, and then she was supposed to mind her business in other people's country because she want to break a country and so on. Seriously, it's hypocrite in a way. I will tell you why. Coming from the American audience, I will talk to them because they are the ones who are more concerned, I guess, about that, and they are the ones who talk a lot about that. First of all, if you haven't watched the series about Becoming Bridget, then don't say anything. Okay, don't say anything, because I will repeat a little bit of what Dave Chappelle said once when he was accused of transphobia and everything about his Netflix program, I think, and he said, if you haven't watched the program first on Netflix, I will not accept that people protest about that. Before saying something, go watch first and then come and comment on that. Okay? It would be hypocrite to say something that you haven't even watched and try to understand where it starts from the beginning. 2, if she has mind her own business, in the world, it's not limited. That's something that I often say to American. What I tell them often it's like the world is not only limited to America. The world is bigger than that, okay? When it comes to truth, when it comes to justice, when it comes to free speech, it's the world, okay? Being independent journalist doesn't put you under, doesn't put you systematically under, I don't know how to say that. You are independent journalist, you can be investigating in something. I've seen stories of people who are blogging about social situation in other countries. And this country don't ask you anything. I give an example. There are people who are talking about women's rights that are not applied in other countries of the world, knowing that in these countries usually the religion, okay, put women as second class citizen, which is not acceptable. But according to their culture, that's why it becomes difficult. According to their culture, according to their religion, it can be, they can view you as you who are talking about it or criticizing about it as like you are minding, you are putting your nose that is not in your business. You have people, you have journalists of your countries. I say that another video, that you have journalists who are international. They are, for example, American, and they live abroad to what is happening in these countries. And their role is to what? Is to report when there are situations that happen. You will see them coming, take the microphone and talk to you about, for example, the political situation of the country, because they have been there. So yes, they don't mind their business. They are actually living in these countries. Okay, you have people of other countries, journalists of other countries living in other countries of the world, because I think that it's about, in the way, free speech. An independent journalist is not forced to, I think an independent journalist should not be limited to what is happening in his country. And that is, for me, reassuring that there are still people out there who are watching what is happening in other countries. The world is big. Me, I will be very glad that someone is talking about the politics of my country. I will be glad that someone from another country will be talking about the situation of my country. You have many of you, Americans sometimes, who are calling Africans. Some of you are calling us retarded because we don't necessarily agree with same-sex marriage or same-sex relationship. You call us that we are retarded, that we don't understand that the world is moving forward. As a matter of fact, you have your president, Mr. Obama, who actually had a speech in Africa about the situation of same-sex. But does that mean that, is it something that Africa as a culture, as a society is okay with it? No. This is in a way being disrespectful to our culture. And that a person from the outside who is telling me that this is wrong, you're supposed to accept same-sex relationship or same-sex marriage because you have to, it's kind of disrespecting the culture or how the society is working in these African countries. This is not minding your business, okay? You have situations like that. Being a journalist for me, especially when the journalists are independent, is very important. You weren't here. I mean, many of you, I don't even know if you watched the live when even before she invited the French journalist of investigation, Xavier Poussard, on that subject. But the day before, even the day when she did the series live, the number of French people themselves who were on the live of Candace Owens, that was crazy. I remember that very much. Most of them there were many French viewers that day that I've never seen before, because I often watch her live. I often watch her program online. But when she started the Becoming Brigitte series, I'm telling you, there were many French themselves who were watching and who were interacting in the life of Candace Owens. What does that mean? It means that in a way, the French people have been talking about that way before Candace talked about it. Way before. It has been a subject of discussion way before. So why? Usually they say there is no smoke without fire. We don't know. But I think that talking to her and saying that, oh, she's supposed to mind her own business, people, you are killing in a way also free speech. I understand that there is privacy of personal people, but there are public figures and there are people on the head of the state of a country. It's the representation of a country. The people of this country themselves have been talking about it. If I'm talking about the issue of my country, and I happen to meet an independent journalist from another country who is interested to talk about the same situation I'm talking about my country, I'll be glad. I'm telling you, because it looks like there are still people who want to protect the free speech. And free speech, like I said earlier, is dying in Europe. But yeah, we have to mind the fact that maybe we should also respect a certain privacy. But usually public people, when you are a public figure, when you are a public person, it depends, because it can be difficult to have this privacy that you are longing for. Okay, longing for. Sorry, my English can be okay. But when you want to limit someone, you say she shouldn't be putting her nose in other people's countries' situation, I think you are fake. Because based on that, I have a question to American audience who are talking like that. Why do you have many military bases in the world? Okay, you have many American military bases in the world. Can we talk about that? Is it minding your own business when you are going there in these countries? 1. 2, you make decisions in the world for other countries. Is it minding your own business when you are influencing the politics also? And some countries are very upset about it. This is politically really impacting these countries. Okay, political decision impacting these countries. 4, you have seen in the world picture of historical situation that happened in the world. This picture have been taken sometimes by journalists from the outside of these countries. I don't think that when you remember, for example, the Tiananmen Square, okay, what happened that day? You saw the student, I don't know, the Chinese man who was standing in front of the tank, the military tank, at the time of the Chinese communist, the strong communist China at the time. It was a journalist from another country who took that picture. I don't remember, I will put his name somewhere. That picture went viral in the world. That picture went viral in the world. And people who believe in a certain freedom for the people, when they saw the picture, like they now, the world now knew what was happening in China at the time. Because yeah, people could be talking, but that picture also moved the world. That picture marked, even me, I was a child, when I saw this picture for the first time, later when I was reading history, you go to the library, you read history, that picture marks you. It was also on TV. It wasn't a Chinese journalist who did that. It wasn't a Chinese photographer who did that. It was, I don't know, I have to remember, that photographer, he had a prize. I don't know if it was a Pulitzer Prize for that picture. You have journalists or photographers who are from other countries who took the picture. Remember what happened? I think one of the things that really made Vietnam enter in the war is when you have you have the resistance, but you have also the I won't say the uprising, but in a way, the uprising of the Buddhist priests who were not happy about the fact that they couldn't peacefully practice their religion. And there was someone who took the picture of the priest, a Buddhist priest, who set himself on fire. That picture marked the world. They weren't from these countries. They are from other countries most of the time. The picture we saw of the child who was very on the bone, without flesh, who was sitting in the dust, hungry in Africa, in the war in Africa. I don't know which country it was. That picture taken by the journalist or the photographer, or that video went viral in the world. They went from these countries. So stop this hypocrisy. Someone can actually be interested in the case of something that happened in another country. The French themselves have been talking about that long before Candace Owens. So stop. Okay, stop that. It's fake. We know that, especially the American audience, they are stuck in their world. Okay, the Pandora box hasn't been opened by Candace. The Pandora box has been opened way before Candace. And you, if you haven't watched, then you should watch what Xavier Poussard said. He's French himself. Okay, now the only way to close the debate would be simple. That is an advice that we can give to the French couple, presidential couple, the Macron, Mrs. Macron. Simply bring your brother. Just bring him. Have a conference with the journalists of the world if you have to, and tell them, this is my brother. Now we can close the debate. We can shut down all the gossip about that. Finish. Done. Just a conference can finish it. Just a picture with her brother is done. Over. But why is turning? That's where, the questions start to, that's where the mysteries start around and floating and so on. Okay? So I don't think that it was a good move from them to sue her, because if she proved that it was what she said is right, is allegedly right, or I don't know, then it's going to be a massive and global humiliation. And what you have been saying that she deserves all that, what will be your word after that if she wins the case? Okay? So next, I will talk about what is happening now in the world, the black community again, African and black American. I read that the black Americans want to boycott African businesses. Let's talk about that in the next video.